What is happening at this moment in Jaipur, and this of course is the much anticipated road show where the Indian Prime Minister along with the French President Emmanuel Macron is of course taking part in a road show in Jaipur, and this of course is a pretty significant one considering that Emmanuel Macron is in India to be the chief guest for the Republic Day parade. And he's, of course, taking part in this roadshow along with the Indian Prime Minister. And remember, the Indian Prime Minister shares a very close sort of an equation with the French President. And this is a personal touch, sort of diplomacy that the Indian Prime Minister has brought. And what we are witnessing at this moment is, look at the number of people who, of course, turned in to catch a glimpse of the Indian Prime Minister and also the French President Emmanuel Macron through this historic city of Jaipur, which has been lit up. It's generally lit up in this manner pretty much in any given day when you look at all those historical monuments. But this evening, of course, it's special. This is a roadshow that the Indian Prime Minister is having with the French President, who is on a two-day trip to India. The two leaders will be spending a total of about 6 hours in the historic city of Jaipur. And what we are at this moment witnessing is something pretty important. It also is about the optics. It also is about diplomacy. It's about the India-France equation, and it's a lot of many other things put together. Now, the Indian Prime Minister and Emmanuel Macron earlier had visited several heritage sites, such as the Jantar Mantar, and they'll also be passing by the Hawa Mahal. And you can look at the number of people who, of course, are lined up in the streets of Jaipur, greeting and showering the Indian Prime Minister with flowers. A lot of them are party workers, and this is an important road show that the Indian Prime Minister, of course, is carrying out. The leaders will, of course, be guided through Jantar Mantar, which was, remember, an astronomical observatory that was built back in 1730 by Savai Jai Singh. So we saw the two leaders at Jantar Mantar a little while back, and the leaders, the two of them, also will have tea at a roadside tea stall, and they'll make payments through UPI transactions. This is another important aspect of this roadshow, where the digital Indian economy is something that is going to be highlighted, besides the many tourist attraction sites that are there in Jaipur. The French President arrived in Jaipur at about 2:30 p.m. and he'll proceed to the Amber Fort, the 16th century monument situated on the Aravalli range overlooking the city of Jaipur. So Amber Fort and 5 others are part of the hill forts of Rajasthan that have been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this particular program that we are looking at will showcase the Rajasthani folk heritage, is what is being described. The Indian Prime Minister along with the French President are now taking part in this roadshow at this moment. But also remember, this roadshow will in many ways bring about and will highlight several aspects of India's digital economy. Now, Emmanuel Macron is also expected to make a purchase at a handicraft shop near the Hawa Mahal as well. This is something that is going to be a part of the roadshow. And my colleague Siddhant Sibil is, of course, tracking all the developments for us, and he is at this moment in Jaipur and is joining us in this broadcast. Siddhant, we are looking at the roadshow where the Indian Prime Minister and the French President are atop a car and are going through the streets of Jaipur. Thousands of people, of course, are along the roadside to get a glimpse of the Indian Prime Minister along with the French President.
Well, Mohammed, the scenes here are very frenzied and something very overwhelming as well. I'm standing on the path of the roadshow, and in a few moments from now, I do expect roadshow to cross the location where we are standing, and people are waiting to get a glimpse of both the leaders, the Indian Prime Minister and the French President. We have spoken to many of the leaders of the people who are standing here to get a glimpse of the leaders, and they are very happy that the French President has chosen Jaipur as his first destination on his 2-day India visit. This is the pink city. This is the tourism hub of India. This is a civilizational city in many senses. We saw the French president visiting the fort, the Amir Fort, and also Jantar Mantar. Now, of course, the roadshow is underway. We have spoken to people who are basically saying that if they are able to catch a glimpse, they will find themselves very lucky. Perhaps we can speak to some of the people. Sir, would you like to speak to us? Sir, would you like to speak to us? Again, you're a tourist.
I've spoken already.
But again, you can speak to us. How do you feel being present here? We're right now on a live show. How do you feel present here with the French president and the Indian Prime Minister's roadshow?
We're very privileged to be here, very humbled by the tremendous people. You have got a fantastic country, and this city is amazing, and we are very, very humbled to be here. Thank you.
So that's the view of the tourists who are present here. They, of course, are also very overwhelmed with the presence of so many people together here and witnessing this grand roadshow. When these images go abroad in Europe, they do make an impact politically for the leadership as well. But essentially on the ground, I can again, I can ask my camera person to pan the city view. The city is decked up. It is literally Diwali time, it looks like, here in the city. Frenzied scenes and a lot of excitement. In fact, several times I have seen during my presence here the flowers being thrown at the people. Many of the people who are present here in Jaipur have travelled from across the length and breadth of this state, the Rajasthan state, to get the glimpse of the leadership. Now remember, this is the second time the Indian Prime Minister is holding a road show this year. We know that earlier this month in Gujarat, the Indian Prime Minister and the UAE President held a road show. Now Jaipur is the scene of this mega road show, where we know that shortly the Indian Prime Minister and the French President are going to come on a road show. So excitement is building up here on the ground. Essentially, most of the people are keen to get a glimpse of the French leadership and the Indian Prime Minister as well. So there is a lot of warmth in the city in terms of the vibes here. Not the temperature, it's pretty cold outside here in Jaipur, and a lot of fog as well as the day progresses. But essentially, that hasn't deterred the people to come out, brave the cold, and get a glimpse of the world leaders, the French President and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who will be present here, and they will be, of course, holding the various meetings here in this city, the pink city of India, given the fact that this is a city which has several UNESCO heritage sites. That is something that was not missed, and the Indian Prime Minister showcased that to the French President. In fact, let me tell you, today India also celebrates the National Tourism Day. So it doesn't looks like a coincidence that the French President is present in India's most touristy spot on a day when India is celebrating the National Tourism Day. So essentially, again, let me ask my camera person to showcase you and give you the images as well of the situation on the ground. Let me speak to some of the people as well. कैसा लग रहा है
बहुत बढ़िया।
जो प्रधानमंत्री आ रहे हैं, फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति आ रहे हैं, वो थोड़ी देर बाद यहाँ से गुजरेंगे, कैसा आपको लगेगा? क्या कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे?
बहुत अच्छा फील हो रहा है साहब।
फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे?
मोदी जी टूरिज्म को बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं, वो अपने देश के लिए बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा और जयपुर के अंदर टूरिस्ट आएंगे तो यहाँ का व्यापार भी बढ़ेगा, बहुत अच्छा रहेगा।
मोदी जी देश के नहीं बल्कि ग्लोबल लीडर बन चुके हैं। उनकी हर बड़ा नेता हर उनकी बात सुनता है। यहाँ तक कि जो भी युद्ध हुआ था यूक्रेन और रशिया का, उसमें भारतीय जो लोग थे उनको पहली सुरक्षा दी गई थी। और जो
फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति आ रहे हैं, उनके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? उन्होंने जयपुर उन्होंने घूमा,
उन्होंने जयपुर देखा, इससे ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड में मैसेज जाएगा कि जयपुर टूरिस्ट जगह है, जिससे वर्ल्ड के लोग जो है वो जयपुर घूमने आएंगे। इससे इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट मिलेगा, राजस्थान की इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट मिलेगा। इससे हम बहुत खुश हैं और हम चाहते हैं कि मोदी 2024 में वापस आए।
So that's the view on the ground of the various people. I believe there are few women as well. मैम कुछ बात करना चाहेंगे? मैम कुछ बात करना चाहेंगे हमसे? कुछ बात करना चाहेंगे हमसे? कैसा फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति आ रहे, कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति को?
हमारे इंडिया में बहुत बहुत वेलकम है, उनका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। जय भारत, जय हिंद, जय राम।
आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति को?
हाँ जी, हमारे आ रहे हैं, उनका वेलकम है, हमारे अतिथि हैं और हमारे मोदी जी उनके साथ हैं, बहुत बहुत वेलकम है उनका।
So that's the view from the ground of people very excited to get the glimpse of the French president, and we know that essentially India-France relationship has grown leaps and bounds. Defense has been the main pillar of this relationship. We know that the Indian Prime Minister was the chief guest at the Bastille Day last year, and this year the French President Emmanuel Macron is the chief guest at the Republic Day parade. So it looks like a reciprocity, but it also looks like that both the countries are working in tandem with each other. Let's speak to more people. कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति आ रहे हैं।
बहुत बढ़िया हो रहा है अपने यहाँ पे, राष्ट्रपति आ रहा है फ्रांस का। अपने देश के लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है।
मेरे साथ और भी लोग हैं। आप
मैं बोलो किसके बारे में?
फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति
मैक्रो बहुत ही अच्छा हमारे देश के अच्छे दोस्तों में से शामिल है। फ्रांस ने भारत को राफेल दिया था। राफेल के बाद में भारत सैन्य दृष्टि से बहुत मजबूत हुआ है। वो भारत और फ्रांस की दोस्ती किसी जमाने में रशिया और भारत की हुआ करती थी, उस तरह की है और यहाँ का व्यापार बढ़ेगा अभी।
So that's the view on the ground of the people. That is what people have been saying. We have been present for 2 hours now, and the vibe here on the ground is pretty exciting.
Absolutely indeed, Siddhant. Do continue to stay on with us. Meanwhile, we're getting these live images of the Indian Prime Minister and the French President, who have stopped at this moment for a brief period of time in front of the Hawa Mahal. And the French President, of course, is taking a look at the Hawa Mahal, which happens to be one of the key tourist destinations in the city of Jaipur. Remember, besides highlighting the many heritage and historic sites of the city of Jaipur, what also is going to be highlighted as a part of this road show is the fact about the digital payment systems in India. So as a part of this roadshow, we're given to understand that in some time, the French President Emmanuel Macron will be making a stopover to make a purchase at a handicraft shop near the Hawa Mahal, where he'll of course be making the payment using the Indian digital app. And these are live images from the city of Jaipur in an important roadshow. The optics here are crucial. The French President, of course, is here in India to be the chief guest at the Republic Day Parade celebrations tomorrow. We'll slip into a short break. More updates will, of course, continue on the other side. Stay tuned to WION.